James Gavin.
And what do you do for a living?
Well, my regular job is I'm a land consultant, which means I sell land and property to people. But my hobby is skydiving, and I think that's what we're here to talk about.
When did you first decide to skydive?
I first decided to skydive, I think I was about 19 years old, and I made a tandem skydive, which is where an instructor wears a parachute and you wear a harness, and then the harness is hooked to the instructor. So you guys go out of the plane together, and then he pulls the parachute, and then you both land safely together.
So is that still how you do it now?
No. Well, now I'm a licensed skydiver, so I jump by myself, meaning I wear my own parachute, and then I either jump alone by myself, or if I have some friends or a group of people that want to make a jump together, we can jump together.
Interesting. Where do you skydive?
Well, I have been skydiving in Hawaii and Chicago, but my home drop zone, where I go on a regular basis now, is Skydive Carolina, which is in Chester, South Carolina.
How often do you skydive?
I wish I could go every day because it's so fun, but because I'm busy with work and being a dad, I go usually about once every 3 weeks.
What are the basics they teach you when skydiving the first time?
Well, the first time and every time after, the number one focus in skydiving is always on safety. It's a lot of fun to do, but as long as everybody trains and jumps on a regular basis and does it in a safe way, then everybody can enjoy it for a long time. So what they teach us is how to control our bodies in free fall, which means after we've left the plane and before we pull our parachute and we're actually kind of flying. And so they teach us how to control our bodies. They teach us when to throw our parachute, and we throw our parachute. We have a little, it's called a pilot chute in the back, and we throw that out, and that is a little parachute which pulls out our big parachute. And then they also teach us how to land safely.
So how high do you normally pull your chute?
Well, I normally jump from about 14,000 feet off the ground, and then I usually pull my chute somewhere around 4,000 feet off the ground.
What is the difference with you as a skydiver and the first time skydiver?
Well, the difference is that I'll be wearing my own parachute, and I'll be free to do whatever I'd like to do in the sky that day. And then they will have a tandem instructor, like I was saying before, that will be wearing a parachute that is big enough to support both of them. That's the differences, but the same thing. So let's say, Jameson, that when you turn 18, you decide to go. And let's say by then I have, we'll just say 500 jumps. Even on your very first skydive, you'll be in the plane, I'll be in the plane, you'll have a parachute, I'll have a parachute, and we'll both be jumping out of there, we'll both be enjoying the day and the experience. So there's a lot of similarities, and then the difference is just how much control I have over my own experience.
Are there strict rules with skydiving, or are you free to do whatever as long as it is safe?
Well, you hit the nail on the head right there. As long as it's safe, you can do whatever you like. But what we do is when we fly up on what's called the jump run, and the jump run is when people exit the plane over a specific area. And what we do is, once we've identified a safe place to leave the plane, the first person will go out. We'll allow them enough time to safely create enough distance for the next person to go out, so that way nobody's directly over somebody else, so that way everybody's got their own area of the sky to work with.
What is required to get a license?
The only thing that's required is a sense of adventure and 25 jumps with a certified skydive instructor and or coach.
And how old do you have to be to skydive?
You have to be 18. But there is indoor skydiving, which you have got to experience, that you can enjoy at almost any age. I think it's 3 and up.
How many times have you skydived in total?
Well, I'm still very new to the sport, and like I said, I would like to jump more often. Right now, I'm at 41 jumps, and we'll see where I'm at the end of the summer.
Do you know how many times you've done tandem skydiving and how many times you've done solo diving?
3 times tandem and 38 solo.
And why is it so many solo and not as many tandem?
Well, the tandem jumps are a great way for somebody who's not sure if they would like to skydive by themselves or continue to do it, or for somebody that just maybe says, I want to do it one time, in my life. So the tandem experience was how I learned that I really did enjoy the experience and what made me want to get my license.
Interesting. What planes are used for skydiving?
Well, there's a ton of different aircraft that are used. Everything from airplanes to helicopters to hot air balloons. But the most common aircraft that skydivers jump out of is an airplane with a propeller engine, which a propeller engine is what, it almost looks like a fan blade and sits on the front of the engines and spins round and round. And unlike like if we were going to fly to Florida, those planes are turbine engines and they just suck the air in. So skydivers jump out of propeller aircraft because the pilot can slow the plane down enough that it's safe for us to exit. And what they do is they kind of tilt the tail up a little bit, so as we jump either out of the side door or the back of the aircraft, we can leave the plane safely.
Have you jumped out of anything that's not a plane?
Not yet, but there's a few that I'd like to.
And can you explain to us the gear that skydivers use?
Sure. This is some of the gear that we use. Here's a few different pair of goggles. So I might use this one if it's real sunny, or this pair because these have tinted goggles, just like sunglasses. These are yellow and they actually kind of enhance the light a little bit. So if it's not quite as bright out, I might choose these. We always wear a helmet. The helmet is mostly for, like, I've even got a few scratches and scrapes on mine. It's mostly from bumping your head on the door on the way out, or if me and you were flying together and doing a skydive and we rammed into each other, boom, we'd want something to protect our noggins. This is my jumpsuit. So I wear this over clothes. If it's hot out in the summer, I'll just wear shorts and a t-shirt, but in cold weather, I may wear a few pairs of pants, a coat, a sweatshirt under this, and then these handles are grips so that when I'm flying with other skydivers, we can dock onto each other.
What's docking?
Docking is when, here, hold your hands out like this, Jameson. So if me and you are flying, we might go up, and that's a dock, which means we've come together into a formation. And then what we might do is we might separate and both do a 360 and then dock again. And so that's like, we might have a sequence of events like that, and that's how we'll plan our jump. This is